Yes, guys, what's going on? Adam Mckola here. I'm with Joe Smith. Stretford, Paddock, Manchester United have won their first game of the season against Luton Town. 3-0 it was in the end, wasn't it? The goals come thick and fast towards the end. Although it was quite tight for most of the game, we got the victory in the end and we're through to the next round. How are you feeling, Joe?
All right, yeah. It was comfortable, wasn't it? I mean, I'm not going to be doing cartwheels after beating Luton 3-0, but it was what we needed to see. It was a decent reaction from the game at the weekend. The team that started the game didn't look amazing, again, I'll say that, but it was always comfortable. Luton only made, a couple of half chances, nothing too sinister really. One time where they had the ball in the box, Henderson had to make a bit of a save, but generally it was pretty comfortable. And once we brought those changes on, we saw Fernandes and Greenwood and Rashford come on toward the end, and 2 late goals, like you said, pretty comfortable.
It was 2 late goals in the end for United that won it. Juan Mata obviously got the first goal from the penalty spot. A good penalty won by Brandon Williams. I think it was a stonewaller. What did you make of the likes of Mata, Donny van der Beek, Jesse Lingard, those that came in for their first starts today?
I thought Jesse was the standout of the bunch, to be honest. I thought Van der Beek's obviously got a bit of quality to him, and sometimes he looked like he was a bit let down by the likes of Igalo a little bit, and sometimes Mata as well. He was finding them and he was trying to look up and see what space they were in, and they weren't necessarily making the space or in the right areas for him to find them. But for me, it was Jesse who stood out. He good passing from the wings, bringing the ball in, carrying the ball in as well, using his sort of not necessarily speed, but just quickness mentally to sort of see the gap and run into it. And I thought it looked good. Again, no goal for him, but
he's been linked with the move to Spurs this week as a possible replacement for Dele Alli. Would you sell Jesse Lingard to someone like Spurs?
It depends, doesn't it? Because in my head, he's not the first one that should be leaving Man United. There are half a dozen players who I would get rid of before Jesse Lingard. But if Jesse wants to go and the club want to sell him, you're going to have to sell him somewhere of the calibre of Spurs.
Joe was the manager. Player. Spurs come in with an offer.
Yes.
30 million, no more, no less. Does Joe take it?
30 million from Spurs for Jesse Lingard, yeah, I'd take that.
See, I don't.
Right.
And we'll have a little debate because, we got time on that. But the reason why I wouldn't take it is because, actually, Lingard, I think, offers a bit more when on form than some players in our squad, like Daniel James. And that's not because of today. That's based on what I've seen from him during his whole career. But I also feel, actually, Mourinho got the best football out of him.
Yeah.
Under 17-18, he won 2 cups under him, had his best ever season. And you actually give Lingard and play him in behind Kane, Son, Gareth Bale, and I actually think Jose Mourinho might get something out of him. He might be the perfect foil, because you've seen the all or nothing thing, right?
Yeah.
One of the big things Jose hated about Dele was he didn't work.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Jesse does that work. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. He's a hard worker, and like I said, he had his best season ever under Jose. But it depends as well. If we get 30 million for Jesse Lingard and we don't spend that on anyone, then keep him. But if it's like, 30 million, that means we can get Sancho, then you've got to sort of look at the future of the club as a whole rather than just, is Jesse better than Phil Jones? Or, like I said.
The fact that they're possibly going to fight for the same spots in the table as us doesn't concern you at all?
It does, yeah. It concerns me a bit. It's what plays into my decision as to whether I would let him go there or not, and it's the most difficult portion of that decision. But I think 30 million is a lot of money, and if Jesse wants to go, that's the thing for me. If he wants to leave, then you've got to sort of let him go somewhere that's suitable for him. And he's a good enough player to play for a team that's in and around those European spots. So either you sell him to a rival or you sell him somewhere, another country where he might not want to play, or there may not be offers from other countries. So again, if you're going to let him go, it's going to be someone like Spurs. But like I said before, he wouldn't be in my first dozen players to let go now.
Marcus Rashford, Mason Greenwood come off the bench to get goals. It was good to see Marcus Rashford scored a goal as well. I know the Bruno pass was a little bit of a hit and hope, but there was some good slick play in there.
Yeah, nice little build-up play. Good from Mason as well, who got the assist. A goal and assist when he came on as well. It's good to see Marcus getting a goal because he's been, I wouldn't necessarily say poor, but maybe underperforming slightly since we came back from lockdown. So the fact that he's got that goal, I think, was big for him. It was a nice finish, just sort of controlled, composed finish in the corner. The finish of someone who's scored a lot of goals in the last season, like over 20 goals for the first time. Just opened his body up, slotted it in the corner. Like I said, when Greenwood and Marcus and Bruno came on, we just stepped up another level. Luton, who were already struggling to contain our second string team, had no real answers for them, and I'm happy for Marcus because it looks like he's injured or something, but Ollie's brought him on again. When he first came on, I was thinking, what are you bringing him on for? Can he not get a week off in his whole career? Like, even under Jose, when he didn't play the most minutes, he was still the highest appearance maker, I think, after De Gea. So he's played a lot of games, a lot of appearances since he's come through, and he's played a lot of those appearances with injuries. And I was surprised that he came on, but I'm happy for him to get a goal.
Donny van der Beek made his first start, and there was a few other players that made their first appearances this season. What did you make of Donny's performance? Would you start him against Brighton at the weekend? Is there anyone else that you'd maybe start as well?
I liked Henderson today. I thought it was good. I said during the watch along, it's going to be interesting to see. At some point, it didn't happen tonight, as far as I remember, but someone put a cross in from a corner, and our goalie step out of his net and collect that cross. Like, that's not De Gea's job. Well, it is his job, but that's not his strong suit. But Henderson is obviously a bit more physical, a bit more sort of commanding of his box. I thought he played well tonight. Didn't have too much to do, but what he did well. Van der Beek, like I said, was decent. And it just depends on the fitness of Paul Pogba, because he was as bad as I've ever seen him against Crystal Palace. In a United shirt, he's had a lot of stick down the years, and mostly I think unwarranted. But he was pretty terrible against Palace, wasn't he? He gave the ball away so many times, and when you're in that number 10 spot, you're trying to create chances, you can give the ball away. We saw that with Bruno. He's got 75% pass completion, something like that. When you're playing deep next to Matic in that number 6 role in front of the defence, you can't be giving the ball away, because turnovers in that part of the pitch lead to chances for the opposition. He was really bad. So if Pogba's not fit, I think we've seen tonight, we saw it in his cameo against Palace, and we even saw in the pre-season friendly against Villa that Van der Beek is the sort of person who can fill that role if he needs to.
Most def. We are through now to the next round. How important are the cups this year for United?
Massive. Just Ole needs a trophy, I think. I think we've seen this season, with the way that the transfers have been handled, that a lot of people are sort of seeing that whether you think Ole's the right man or not, the manager, whoever it may be, is not the person that's making this club struggle in the last few years. Or maybe, under Moyes, he wasn't necessarily the right man, but Van Gaal was proven, Jose as proven as any manager has ever been. We can see now as United fans that it isn't the manager holding this club back. So, if it comes to proving himself a little bit, a cup like this would be perfect for that. Again, it's going to be difficult to really push onto that next level when it's clear that he's not being backed in the transfer market, but a Carabao Cup, an FA Cup, obviously a Champions League, or even a Europa League if we don't get out of the group stage, something like that.
Oh God, don't say that.
I know, it's not ideal, but what I'm saying is any cup will be great for Solskjaer. Just to cement himself as sort of the clear choice for Manchester United, because there's still a lot of people who aren't necessarily certain on Solskjaer.
Most def. Man of the match today? Eric Bailly.
Eric Bailly was good. I would say Jesse Lingard for me.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I thought he was the brightest spark throughout the game. I think that's fair. Defo. Brighton next. Confident now? A little bit more confident?
A bit more confident. Just a bit more energy in the tank. A bit more legs. People have actually played a few minutes now. Hopefully, Wan-Bissaka's come back. I think he was a big miss against Palace. I'm more confident than I was before the game for sure.
Cheers, Joe.